The bands are interesting. They pretty much hit everything that I would expect people want them to. I am, however, a bit surprised about the lack of any bands towards, like, once again, the burn package of Songhai. Like, I fully get why Alpha didn't go for it. Um, because obviously stuff like Mantra and 8K weren't exactly dominating the scene. I do feel the loss of Panda sort of pigeonholes you even into playing Ox or, Burn, especially where the meta is heading. Um, but yeah, other than that, seems fairly stock standard. I don't know about yourself. Is anything you want to comment on expected archetypes? Because it's always weird in tournaments or in events such as these. And one of my favorite things about Duelyst has always been uh, how these tournaments turn into these mind games. Because I'm looking at these bands and I'm thinking, okay, people are just going to play, say, other Vitruvian lists, maybe obelisks, maybe that open. Now, if Valve's good, maybe that opens for other strategies. Let's say Bond becomes popular again, which is going to lead to this being bad. So it's interesting, and ultimately, yeah, I'm excited to see what people ended up bringing to the tournament.
Yeah, I noticed that like these bands basically seem to ban the top three lists going around, like Vault, Wanderer, Titan, and then you have Songhai bands because Songhai.
I still don't get why Al was banned though.
Well,
Like,
you
was
cannot be
all
fair. Like Arcanist High is kind of obnoxious.
no, no, I get that, but just going even in the um, what do you call the Meltdown League, it's not like Arcanist High specifically out of the list available was dominating, was it? I mean, it got shut down by Mage Sworn the same way that all other Songhai lists got shut down by Mage Sworn, and it was, in fact, like it was not really more popular than, say, Gates in the first place. So it just seems a kind of like misplaced ban if you look at how ladder and tournaments were going. But
Uh,
again, I've been out of the loop for a while, so maybe that's me.
this is by the way EurasianJay in case nobody knows. Welcome. Uh, but the thing with the old beast, I think, is because Arcanist High, I think, was pretty successful in the latest tournament go around, and it's a
Okay.
fairly popular uh, deck archetype, and I think it was also one of those decks that could actually function against Wanderer and Titan, and was
Yeah.
pretty successful somehow. Uh,
Oh, sure.
I think
Like again, it's.
I think as far as like burn high goes, I think like Battle Panther is probably like
Oh no, Pando is huge. We're talking about taking the best three drop like in the entire format and just like nuking it. So yeah, that's massive.
it's very crucial removal for Songhai. So Songhai cannot do their shenanigans anymore, and they need to rely on the Flame Wreath and so on forth. So
Well, like we need to play like actual good minions. Damn.
as you do in Songhai. Uh, Also, the Healer got a kind of nerf with the Sunrise Cleric, which I think is kind of warranted, but that was kind of
Oh yeah,
surprising.
cleric was all sorts of busted. So
I'm gonna load
I
up the
mean, it's
game
not
as well.
even sure. It's not even that Helena particularly bothered me from a power standpoint. It was just obnoxious to actually play again, just from a game's feel.
Yeah, Healer is always gonna be into, kind of near there, but then not.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't like how their games played out because you were essentially punished for trying to be aggressive against them since they're just going to heal up a bullshit amount, or you're going to run away and they're going to equip their little artifact and ping you a million times and do a song on you. So, oh,
Exactly,
this
yeah.
looks interesting.
Alright, so I think we're ready for our first game. So this is the Canadians Canadians versus US East. So the players are gonna be Alpha Century against Mr. Mana 3. And I heard this game
Mana
was
brings
interesting, but
spice.
I have no idea what's happening.
Well, I'm looking at Mana. He seems to be going for the Unbirth combo, hence his cheeky little inclusion of Tigress. So he obviously wants to build a board, then have Tigress out, and possibly make a cub and give his Unbirth token haste. So that seems to be what I'm getting from this. Alpha, knowing Alpha, he's probably playing Wizard Brown. Like that's just this has to be like that, right?
I'm not gonna say that you're right, but you're right. That's what I heard from the ruminations in chat.
Okay, no. Like it just has to be like that. It's whenever you see Brome and Alpha, you're just like, yep, that's what it is. Okay, if Mana is clever, his replaces would be good here because again, you just have to try to game Alpha and really think that you're not going to need these removal spells because that's just not what Alpha's interested in at the moment.
Yeah, so as a reminder to everyone, this is a team tournament, so there's like 3 to 6 people playing here at the same time, yelling at you in your ear. So this is why some moves might take a bit longer than usual. And
and now I'm just bamboozled.
It's not Wizard. In the Team Canada, there was a reviewer at Mr. Mana and Boronian and Steph Dawnherd playing, I think. No, wait, sorry, I misread. Alpha Century, reviewer at Steph Dawnherd were playing the Canadian side, and on the US East side there was Boronian, Mr. Mana, and NNGG, so at the least.
So yeah, I can't really read much into the matchup anymore. That blood tier is interesting to me. I might possibly want to hold onto that punish now. Or does he feel he don't need it? All right. In which case, I'll probably just play the wings.
Yeah, it's not a trial prom either, so. Are there actually any good prom decks besides like the trial and, trial?
Like honestly, the spell-based Brom deck isn't bad. The trial is always interesting because I don't know. Ever since the nerf, it just felt a little bit too slow for me. You normally handle that the same way you'd handle, say, Zool, because they're just playing bad minions, while you can just build a board. They get particularly dangerous if you are also playing like a less interactive strategies. Wow. Oh, that's brutal.
That happened.
Oh, that's brutal. Okay, so now I've just got no idea what Alpha's playing.
Well, this is a pretty rough board state for anyone playing against Liner.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised that Draining Wave never really caught on the way that I expected it to. Now, naturally, later on, it found a place in these tempo trial decks eventually, and also in aforementioned Helena.
Yeah.
But like it just never caught on. But HP loss was just too big of a thing. Because we were always talking about that turn 2, Silver God into remove your 2-drop just being so brutal,
Yeah.
but it ended up never just panning out.
Yeah. And also, I think like Liner has like a lot of like good minions and cards to play regardless of like the Draining Wave. So like taking the 4 to the face is always kind of. It's basically you take a tiger to your face in trade of.
Yeah, well, it's just how the meta went. Like you could do that against, say, Wanderer, and then they flash Wanderer you, and what's the point?
Yes.
There's no real advantage gain. You can't do that against Songhai pretty much ever. And if if it wasn't Wanderer, it was like Ragnora with eggs, in which case you pretty much handled that the same way you did Songhai, just preserve life total.
Yeah.
So I get it.
By the way, nobody played Ragnarok this week.
Oh, really?
Absolutely no one. It was kind of interesting because I thought
I,
like there was still like room,
I'm actually quite surprised by that.
and like the even Watts saw like play, even though people say like Car kills the general, but
Yeah, but I don't agree with that. Who is bringing vet with car? Like,
yeah, it's kind of
was
sketchy.
was that was that a thing? I mean, no one's gonna play obelisk, surely.
Except me. I tried.
Oh, like I was thinking about obelisks, but honestly, I was also pegging walls and swarm to be pretty good, especially with Panda out of commission.
Yeah, I think
So
Swarm was pretty popular. Yes.
so naturally, you'd think that okay, so if Var's popular, I can just bring car, but
Mm.
at the same time, now that fault needs to, or now fault isn't the thing. Wow, Alpha just going to town here.
Just go face. That's the
Ugh.
place.
So this is probably a good time for good old Kron to come out. Yeah, like as I was saying, I just couldn't picture a good card deck emerging from all this, even if Valve was popular, because like again, it's always been that thing of yeah, I'm bringing the one deck that Valve cannot win against, but like how are you doing against the other decks in the format? Like what does Obelisk do if someone brings walls
Yeah,
or Hyperswarm?
yeah.
You know,
But
you
that's
don't
always
have
been the case with the Vetruvian anyway. Like, what do you do when you play against
yeah.
anybody else than Vetruvian?
Yes.
But I think
Like I
like
was even saying, if I wanted to Giga Brain the entire format, and I don't know if I'm wrong, I would just bring Bond. Like, how do you even remove Ironcliff anymore?
that's a good question. I mean, basically they removed half of Vetruvian's removal, like with the reader. So,
Yeah, I mean, um,
and I think it's gonna be harder for Songhai to remove like a large board without the Bando Death Strike combo going out.
yeah. Um, it's well, especially they're basically forced to play Onyx Basil in their mid range list, and that sounds horrible.
Another cup joins the pack.
All right, so looks like we're trying to set up early.
I noticed that there was like the Letrikers like really showed up in the last tournament.
Oh, I can imagine. Like I've been playing a lot of Twilight Sorcerer on ladder, and I know it's not a particularly good card, just sort of a pet peeve of mine. But 6 HP is practically immortal. Like anything with 6 HP just does not die.
It's
So it's
extremely
just got a
hard to
really
beat,
good
yes.
stat line. Yeah, it's just got a really good stat line going for it.
So you can play her pretty much on the face and get the tigers running in, and nearly all factions have some kind of buffs on them. So
So Alpha probably correctly identifying that he needs to be aggressive in the situation.
when do you not need to be aggressive in any situation? Oh, I'm still kind of amazed that the White Widow is like in Mr. Mana's hand.
But White Widow, like I'll be honest with you, that's just a mana thing.
Yeah.
That's just a even from old Timor's days. That's just that's just one of his pet cards.
Okay. Okay. I mean, it always feels really satisfying to play, but 4 mana is still
Yeah, I
enough.
don't know. Without a replace package, it's just very slow.
Yeah.
Like I've always found, like it's cool running it out there against. Like it would have been like really good if Alpha wasn't playing any minions,
Mm.
but otherwise, I don't know. It just doesn't do it. It seems a fairly easy turn to me. I'm gonna get Tigress out there. Maybe develop Widow so long,
Yeah.
and possibly just protect the cub,
Mm.
or just get the cub. Okay.
You could have prevented the walk to the mana tile there, but I'm not sure if that's the biggest concern right now.
No, like, what are you expecting him to actually play? That hurts you here.
Mm.
Like, that's the other thing. Lionel was never really. Well, recent times, like they don't really rely on a lot of expensive minions. Like, the most they'd play would be what a Titan, EMP. Okay, appearance is good.
Yeah. That's probably the most expensive card on the list, to be honest. Still, it is
Even then, I'll be.
kind of tricky situation for, I think, for Alpha, because like he still needs to get to close, and
Yeah, no, I think Mana's in a really good position here. Like, Alpha was just forced to do that whole VAR thing where he ran away just far enough that I can basically just run away from you for the entire game.
yes.
And all Mana really needs is time. There's only so many claims Alpha has, so I would honestly just backline a Kron possibly here.
Yeah. That's probably what
If
he's going to plan for.
yeah, there's nothing much really to do otherwise.
He could also play this fancy Theobald card that I have actually seen like once in my life, and just do the combo.
Mm. But he probably wants to go for a Kron or a Widow first, just to set that up.
Still, I think this is like he just wants to play White Widow, because I think Kron would have been just better option there personally.
Mm.
Because he's playing the abhorrent combo, so you want
like honestly, I probably would have played a Kron there and just replaced the Widow instead, and see if I could set that up, because that would have been a very powerful turn.
Yeah.
What do we have? Decimate? No. Shouldn't it? So yeah, basically the strategy just seems to be keep that cub alive. Alpha, like, if he's positioning the cub like that, Alpha should have an idea of what's going on, because there's no real reason to be playing that there unless you're playing Unbirth.
And like when you think
But
about it, like replace deck in Kazuva, like it's probably not
at the same
Crusader.
At the same time, if you're Alpha, like, Unbirth isn't exactly something that's ever really been popular, and especially with some of these more spicy inclusions from Mana, I wouldn't blame him for not exactly knowing what's going on. Okay, so this could possibly just be Kron into White Widow.
This should probably, yes, like keeping that White Widow alive seems like a good idea right now. Reach issues and so on forth.
Yeah, it's interesting because now what I would probably do, I would actually move the White Widow down. I'd play the Kron not in Alpha's face and block Alpha with the Aether Master, because you can play Kron and provoke him, but you're just basically playing into another Appearance claim then.
Yes, that's true.
Like, you can do your fancy combo, you could spawn a lot of minions, and it's just going for it? No. I'm quite surprised by this though. Okay, yeah, probably. Combo. Well, I mean, he is getting another replace anyway, so I probably just saw what he could get better. You do run 3. I'm quite surprised that he replaced it there.
Yeah, maybe he kind of thinks that if Kron gets removed, then he doesn't really have anything else to play on the board, so he just needs like meat.
Yeah.
It seems fair because he's running really low on cards and Alpha has 6 in hand. So what do you do as an alpha here?
I mean, you still have a bunch of cards. Alpha's biggest problem at this stage is like he needs to remove that Kron ASAP, but at the same time, this White Widow is just going to start chipping away at him. And from what I've seen, it doesn't really look like he's runs all that many minions, so it's going to be pretty tough pressuring this board.
And Mr. Mana is doing good job spreading out. He's
Yeah, just playing around claim there. This is probably a...
I did not expect that.
Holy Immolation, okay. So I'm going to assume that ping was probably due to him also playing Tempest, so he's probably trying to set that up. I am rather interested in how Alpha is actually planning to win this game. Is he playing Call to Arms, perhaps?
That will be very
because you're not going to...
I will like that.
Well, I mean, I would like that a lot. Obviously, I don't think it's very good, but at the same time, it would make sense in this context of, you're on the other side of the map, so what's your actual plan?
Yeah.
Just run mana out of resources, but...
That seems like a losing plan.
Yeah, especially with this active Kron out. Now, I guess you could have Martyrdom, you could have removal, but... at the same time, like, mana could start popping off, say, Revenant and whatnot.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to do something better than that.
Still, I'm kind of like, Alpha is like backing himself into a corner, so that kind of seems to imply that he doesn't really have any.
Oh, there we go.
Back and forth.
So we've got the combo. Not quite enough to pull it off yet.
But he has a Crown out, so that helps like a ton.
Yeah, he's going to need a little bit more minions to get that started. Alpha's got a lot of healing. So, I mean, from what I've seen, this basically just looks like a updated wizard list. The blood tiers are probably just to get minions into better removal ranges for, immolations, tempests, maybe even sunstrike, stuff like that. And, the basic healing package. So... But yeah, I'm not feeling it for Alpha at the moment.
Well, if he had Claim here, that would be really strong.
Oh no, Claim would be huge. Claim would be massive here.
But he's probably only running like 2 of those, so...
Like, that's ultimately the thing with Lion. Ever since they got Trinity, it's just so hard to actually run them out of cards. You have to either just be aggressive or just beat them on the board. Okay, I don't really care about that.
Nice. Fixes the Crown problem, though.
It fixes the Kron problem, but at the same time, if I was mana, I wouldn't be... Like, I'm far happier seeing an EMP than I would seeing, like, a Claim.
Well, that's the thing, because it kind of disables the Ethermaster and Crown interaction here, so... And also stocks like a lot of Mana's minions on the right side of the board. So Alpha has like one more turn to figure out what to do here.
Yeah, like, I'll be brutally honest with you, that EMP is more rough for shutting down the Aethermaster than the actual Kron interaction.
Yes.
Because Mana doesn't have the option of just drawing a bunch of cards that Alpha has. So he's basically banking on just filtering through his deck and getting card quality.
And if his hand is running like things like White Widow, it's gonna be tricky.
Yeah, at the same time, when we talk about card quality, you're running garbage like White Widow. Yeah, Mana's actually in a quite rough spot here. The problem is you could go for a big Unbirth play, but that just doesn't seem very good at the moment, knowing what type of removal spells Alpha has.
Yeah, it's like one martyr term and you're like done. The game's over.
Yeah, you basically like that's the thing. You basically have to go for a single turn unbuff that's large enough.
Yeah, the second doesn't really change anything here. At least it's replaced fodder. And that was basically Mana's turn is like ping once and just pass.
So I would really love a lure or a whip or punish here. That'd be great. Thanks. Yeah, Manus in a tough spot. He's basically forced now to just play minions out and try to build up stats.
Yeah.
But now Alpha has the full. Oh god.
It's Arcanists again, everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. The problem. Yeah, this seems really rough. The issue with these spell-based decks, normally such as Mantra, would be that if you start playing minions and you make their removal awkward, you can just beat them on board. But what Alpha's doing now is he's playing. Oh god, it's always fucking Sparrowhawk.
Just going
So
downhill from here.
like obviously, why not? You know, it's always played in more factions than Songha itself. Now, what Alpha's posing here is an interesting question to Mana in just that. Well, I'm just going to make a better board than you and have a better removal ultimately.
Yeah. And that EMP is still a big problem, but now you have like 2 extra problems to worry about as well, because you're probably not running EMP in your deck, so...
I mean, would EMP from Mana even do anything in this situation? I mean, you'd shut down Conjurer, and that's big. But otherwise, like even if these were golems, I would still feel roughed about it. Like at this point, just bodies and spells ish. Because that's the thing, though. If these widows were say chakrams,
Yeah.
you know how good would this have actually been?
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure like Mana runs that card.
Well, yeah, it's true. I would imagine he's probably running that card, but like...
I sure hope so.
But it seems to be very like replays heavy minion list. So
Yeah. Like, look, at the same time, this is just a case of Alpha reading the matchup well, knowing he just needs to stay away long enough, whittle away on the board, like using his claims at the right moments. Because ultimately, once these type of decks like fall behind, you're just not going to get back into these games, short of a really insane chakram play. Oh yeah, that Mist Dragon was just rough. What's this? Sundrop? Yep. Just line effects. I mean, Alpha just making basically sure that he doesn't just die to unbuff here. Oh, some some old tournament favorites. Yeah, no, I think we've got one or two replaces left to find that chakram. Otherwise, on to game 2. Yeah, he just doesn't have enough stats on board to even make that unbuff good. But you just can't play that Kron here, right? Like, I don't know the makeup of Mana's deck, but if you have Chakram, you just have to look for it. No, we're going for it. Yeah, but surely... Yeah, this is just lethal, right? I mean, as it is on board, he's four short. That Eclipse isn't really in range of anything. Well, he already used that one Mist Dragon Seal. Yeah. All right, that should probably draw out the concede. Yeah. Like there's a slight chance that Alpha doesn't know that I'm on unbuff yet, so I wouldn't really want to show it to him. Oh, okay. Okay, and Wizard Brome, or some variation of it, seems to take it. Alpha just with better cards in that matchup. I mean, even if you took out the whole replace package, I'm not quite seeing how that plays out differently. If however Banner had went for also unbuff, you can, but a different variant. I know Arcanists maybe Albeast, just to like his problem was just he couldn't stick a board long enough. So he really, once Alpha played anything big, that was basically it. You were like, I need a punish, or because I can't answer anything. And I'm honestly not sure he even played Chakram in that deck. I just never saw that. There was like so many draws and replaces there.
It seemed like he had like 3 of everything, so
Yeah,
just replace the Crown. It's
like maybe we just didn't see it. If he did have Chakram, I still think a good Chakram turn, 1 or 2 turns, prior of it could have like extended that game a bit, but like otherwise, yeah, he just expended too many cards early on, and Alpha was just going to outvalue him eventually.
And the EMP was very painful.
So Riv with the memes, yeah.
Alright. So the next game is gonna be Referral versus NNN. So Referral representing Canada and NNG going for the United States of America, trying to take some revenge.
The Canadians OP must nerve. Like, where's Draggle when you need him?
Where's Ferroca when you call?
Yes. Oh, what's this? Hate Furnace?
Let's see. It's the trial.
It's Hate Furnace. All right. This is this is actually interesting because this is one of the few matchups where I'd say Furnace actually maybe has a shot. These hate Furnace decks, people are going to call it slow, but it's surprisingly easy to trigger by say 6, 7 mana, and this doesn't look like a particularly fast deck from Riv.
Yeah. Mana Fortune and Growler kind of just like our setup cards or something. I have actually absolutely no idea what Refert is planning here. But I like
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know, I don't know the greater makeup of his deck, but he obviously wants to get some, stick some Rift Walkers in there, maybe copy them up a bit,
Yeah.
get that Intensify chain going.
Well, he has a great hand for that right now, so not a great board for it, but you do as you do.
So you're probably at a place for Ooze here, right?
Mm. Or is he planning to play it? Just empty your hand here.
Like if anything, the only thing Rift can really take advantage of is these hate furnace decks are usually quite light on removal.
Just because
So
you
you just
don't
get to
really have
stick.
the space for them. Yes.
Yeah, you don't really have the option. You need those pieces for your amplifications, greater fortitude, stuff like that. No, we're just playing it.
He really wants to play it. So I wonder if that means he's playing Shadow Nova. This will be kinda interesting because I haven't seen that deck in a while.
Just some card draw from Rift.
Yeah.
Getting rid of that early. Consuming Rebirth. Okay, I see what's going on here.
So does that actually work with the Intensify minions?
Yes, it does.
That's just filthy.
Yes, it does indeed. I'm actually tried it for a while in Songhai as well with Second Self, because you could always do some shenanigans by doing that, having inner focus ready. Yeah, it was cute. Good old Macanto coming out. No, Vision off. So this could potentially be a problem for Riv.
He doesn't seem too worried about like what, you know, trial and so forth. So
It's just not good enough. Yeah, we're just like I'm just seeing that we're running into the same issue again. Where's the minion quality? Where's where's the good cards at?
we don't need good cards. We have memes, as it should be.
Sarif probably desperately looking for either another whip or a Punisher.
Yeah. I mean that thing is just gonna get bigger.
No, well, he can remove that, but that's not the issue. The issue is he's just down on cards.
But you still have
Forger.
the yield in depths, but the Rift doesn't really seem to be running too many of like bigger quality minions or higher stat minions that could contest the board. So So I wonder if this Rift Valkyrie is just gonna be the card that's gonna be pulling ahead.
Well, at this stage, it looks like it. I would have probably liked to put that Visionar a bit safer, because it did make it quite easy just for all his minions to run on in there.
Yeah. But then again, it's always easy in Duelyst to get surprised by the how many ways your opponent can remove your big stat minions.
It just makes it equally surprising that he didn't try to, I don't know, maybe do that a bit safer. I don't know if there was a way he could just have positioned that differently. Because in this case, he didn't really need Visionar specifically to be applying any pressure. He just needed it alive to proc the trial.
Yeah.
Yep, so we're just going to draw some cards. Not really under any pressure at the moment.
That Azure Herald feels nice right now.
Yeah, Herald feels really good.
I mean, skipping that turn for Magmar, I think, kind of feels really bad. Like, you're supposed to be having like minions on the board and putting some pressure, but
Yeah, I think a lot of the time what these Magma players take for granted is they just go too deep into these combos. One of the more successful Blood Rage combos I saw, for example, was still playing cards like Slasher and stuff.
yeah.
You know, are you a worse combo deck? Well, yeah, like absolutely, but you're also just a better deck. You know, so they're so busy, like in Hate Furnace case, playing Visionars and yeah, just playing everything that procs for trial, that you just do not have the space to play some of the other good cards.
Yep.
And let's face it, Magma has a lot of them. And Rift can also just really abuse the card advantage aspect like of this matchup, because unfortunately Starhorn just has to use his BBS in this matchup.
Yeah.
Zen Rui.
That's a classic.
What a baller.
I still remember the old Zenrui matchups, just going for it.
Yeah, the less we speak about that, the better.
And now I think Starhorn is in like a really bad spot right here. Gonna need those cards right now.
Alright, draws out another natural selection. I mean, you say he needs those healing cards, but like we're talking about it again, and you just don't have the space. Like, I'm not even sure he runs any particular healing.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's just brutal.
I mirror him straight on the face because, you know. But still, apparently, the only cards you need is like a Void Walker and just Rift Walker and just like, you know.
Yeah, that just seems to be what he's going for here. Yeah, like again, I just have to think that if on that earlier turn where he had 5 mana, if there was a slasher or really anything sizable there, how much further like ahead he might have been in this matchup. But just skipping a whole turn doing nothing was particularly rough. Quill Beast. Vindicator. Yeah, I know.
But now basically we just needs to throw out one of those Rift Valkyries.
No, but I mean, this is just lethal. This is just lethal on board. Like Riff can just move on up, kill the
That's
beast.
true, yes.
So he probably sees that as well. He can just clear that and win. Nope, we're gonna style it out.
It's gonna end the way it started. Oh, that was a really cool deck, though. It's really nice to see all these different kinds of decks coming out. Alright.
So what do we have next? Can someone stop the Canadians?
The last Canadian game is gonna be Steph Downhaired versus Boronian. I'm not sure if you know Steph, but she's a really good player.
I've mostly seen Wanderer from them. I haven't really seen much of anything else, so I can't really comment. But performance-wise, they've been really good the recent months since they started. A fairly new player, yeah, by all accounts, compared to some of these others.
Mm.
So what did we bring today?
Okay, there we go. Alrighty.
Ah, Ox it is. The toad gives it away.
Even Ox.
But unfortunately, this is one of the few generals where I would not want to be playing minion-based strategies against.
That is true.
Oh, okay, fairly straightforward opening here so far. Unfortunately, a natural select is going to clear this up. Deep Impact.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, the Deep Impact was, like I've always felt, has been a little bit underrated, but at the same time, like Magma has so many good removal spells that they never really needed it.
Yeah.
Like in this case, was probably trying to set up a Blood Tier play, I guess.
Could be also like Kill Beast or something.
Hmm.
I'm kind of surprised he backed off though. That's not a very wise thing to do.
Well, it all depends on what he's playing. What's just going to be upper hand? Another Deep Impact. Wow, so yeah, he might just have a Quill Beast here.
But if he had Kill Beast, I would imagine he would have kept off the PPS there. Light Bender straight away to the face. So how do you feel about Ebon Ox decks?
Well, I mean, I've never really liked the trial, if that's what you mean. Like, look, Ebenox suffers usually from the same faults to me that Titan does, in that you can really abuse the fact that they don't get to play spells. Spirit Harvester, wow. Okay. What is this, 2015? I think in this matchup, the issue that Boronian's going to have is he really has a hard timer on him. Because all Steph needs to do is hit these mana curves perfectly.
Yep.
And he's honestly not that far off from that. What does he need? A 2-drop, a 6 and a 7? Or does he already have a 2?
Yeah, I think it's like 2 and 7 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're just looking for a Zendo, a Grimes, Crater, okay?
And Boronian is moving really fast here compared to like the rest of the players. Or his mouse is really still, either or. Or the real time is not on. That might also be true.
There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Is he potentially just going to go for the EMP first?
I don't really see any reason why not. Like just bait out the removals and you know.
Yeah, like at the same time, if I don't like it there though. Yeah, behind him. So like at the same time, if he can't remove this EMP, this could be a very quick game with Zendo coming down next turn.
Yeah. And I don't think you are in that big of a trouble, even if the EMP gets cleared. So the Zendo isn't like a super crucial at this point. And also the health counts are very even.
But yeah, this looks very this looks very bad and for Boronian because unlike our previous game, we might just get to see a trial go off here, and once that happens, like, honestly, all Steph needs to do uh, is keep the distance, and surely Boronian must know that. So I would actually be very aggressive here from him.
Yeah.
The other option is you do still have that EMP there. Like again, we're looking at a potential 14 damage just from Zendo coming down alone.
Yeah. But does like what actually have any good answers to this board right now? I don't. Like,
Well, no good answers in the sense of he could probably clear it, but you need to actually do something. You need to be pressuring Steph here. Yeah, there's the rebuke.
Yeah. That's the one card. Into young Silitar.
Young Sillifer.
I mean, it's very hard to clear, to be fair.
Yeah, ugh, no, this is just brutal. So if you're Steph, you can just back off, play a Zendo, heal up a bit.
Get ready for your Equinox. I need to actually read what the card does because I always forget. Okay.
Now, Steph does need to be careful and just not think that Baronian can't still get back into this game because like single what do you call it, Saurians would be pretty rough here, and you're basically still at the mercy of your top decks. Like if you got nothing but like 2 drops or garbage like that. All right, so Boronian, do you have another rebuke for me?
What is in your hand? I'm kind of curious, like, what is Boronia's game plan, like, to begin with, beyond being Wath? Like, is it just good cards and just go face?
Yeah, I mean it's awkward because normally, if this was anything except Ox, then there's nothing really wrong with his game plan because you can just try to outvalue them and have better removal, but you can't really outvalue the Ox player as the game goes on. Because again, if this was a normal mid range, say matchup, then you'd be Varf, you'd be on 15, you're heading into your healing sphere turns, and you can top deck your Mechantors, but he just doesn't have the time for that. If I'm Steph, anything I draw is just going to be, damage.
Yeah. And like Boronian just like needs to come up with damage from somewhere, so like massive damage. Which is very Vault like, but haven't seen any claws or anything yet.
Alright, so probably a 1 into the painter here. See what we hit first. That's quite fortunate. That, however, is pretty brave. Looking to hit Boronian, perhaps? No. That's actually some very good. Praise be RNG there.
I probably would have felt a bit safer just playing Lightbender there, but
This is actually very fortunate from Steph's side because this plays around Plasma now.
yeah. And also Vault didn't go phased, so bonus points.
So Rebuke will not do it unless he... No, Rebuke doesn't do it. Plasma won't do it unless you have another Blood tier. Unless you... Plasma Natural Select. Even then, like again, as I said, the issue is any top deck I have is just extra burn.
And I think like most of Vault's responses here are mostly just stall for one more turn, but like Steph doesn't really care. And still the Zendo is still on the board and it's been like 3 turns, so awkward.
Yeah, Zenda just reminding everyone why Shimza was the best expansion.
I think there's a lot of arguments about that.
They told Boronian he could be anything, so he became a battle pet. I'd honestly replace the Lightbender here. I think we're super far ahead.
Yeah. Well, Boronian's turn was basically just do nothing, so... I mean, you nearly have lethal here. If he, dies.
But how much does he have? He probably does have lethal actually. If he uses blink.
Yep.
No, he doesn't even need blink. Interesting. Interesting. I'm pretty sure you could have just gone face of everything.
Yeah.
No, that should just be lethal. He still has blink as well.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, that's gonna be it. It's a pretty one-sided showing.
Yeah, the United States did not really show up today.
No.
Just with really interesting decks.
Never really got to see much from Boronian over there. I'm gonna guess with the inclusion of a Deep Impact that we're looking at a more control-focused deck.
Yeah.
But again, like just a very unfortunate matchup there, since you couldn't really go for the traditional like outplaying, like long game Varf games you got there.
Yep.
Just couldn't stand up to that clock.
Oh, where am I? Yeah, it's just. I mean, I don't know what those deep impacts were, though. Like, why? But cool. I need to remember how to use this keyboard. Yeah, here we go. Alrighty, so
Well. I might be slightly biased in like in this matchup. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
so this is Eastern EU Kulpa facing off Arctic Lion from Strayas. I have no idea. I think there's just Strays.
Oh, please go for my opener. Ah, no, we're not doing it.
You need
Coward.
just echo the spear and just stand still.
No, like, um, it's more something. It's more something that you would do as player two, and I'm not sure that it's necessary. But there's an argument to be made for going spear and going diagonally one down or one up, because you could be playing stuff like crypto, and in this matchup, you don't necessarily want to contest center of the board,
Yeah.
Especially against Valve. Like that's just how you lose here by going in too early.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're just going to make a bold prediction and say Valve's going to get steamrolled here because this is not a good matchup.
And there's like a couple of silo traces, so you know. Run away, young child. Run away.
Yeah, you can get rid of one tracer here. There's the mask. Probably playing Bangle as well, but you probably just go for the Cyclone here. And honestly, remove remove a 2-drop. Oh, we're just going face. I guess you can just go face here since you've got the Onyx base seal.
Yeah.
So you get to clear any big minion he sort of goes for.
Or you can just run away. I mean, this is the thing that always kind of gets me when I play against these kind of decks, is that it takes me 4 turns to get there, and then I have like 10 health. And my minions are burning on fire.
Yeah, base with Slasher. Although I don't really like that positioning at all. I've put one forward.
Yeah. Still good idea to get some thingies on the board. With big
But at the
stats.
same time, this is just really rough looking at Arctic's hand because you've got the OBS. If that gets close, you've got the flicker, you've got the tracer. You're just so geared up to make sure Dwarf never really gets close to you.
Yeah. And you still need to deal like 3 damage.
Honestly, yeah, I'd replace, yeah. I'd BBS first. Yeah, no, I don't like that.
Yeah, BPS will be a lot better.
You can't really... You can equip the mask. You can't really BBS now because that just gives him a really good Mercantil.
Yeah.
Not that I particularly care about Mercantil with Tracer and Flicker and whatnot. So if I'm not going to BBS, there's an argument to be made to just do that and Saber Spine as well. Oh, or not. Yeah, okay, so I do feel that's a slight misplay there.
Yeah. Sparing out the Heartseeker would have made like Vault's day a lot worse, because now he has to spare out his minions a bit more. And you're already having like a lot of issues like catching up to that Riva, so...
Would you not go down here?
A McIntyre would be really nice here too.
Warwish would be good. In my mind, Slasher always takes the bottom tile here
Yeah.
because that plays better. That plays better around Tracer. But from experience, a lot of the times players don't really position to play around Silhouette Tracer as good as they could be doing.
Yeah. It's kind of really hard card to play around though, because you never kind of expect it to happen, and when it happens, you just kind of you're behind again.
Especially these days, it's Rage Binder. Okay. Yeah, no, this is not going to be a game where healing is really relevant.
Neither is that removal.
See, now you put yourself in a difficult situation where if you had played that Heartseeker earlier, then in all likelihood you would have been able to place the Geomancer now out of Mercantor range. Whereas now you're a simple Blood Tier away, a Mercantor and a Blood Tier maybe, away from just losing all your artifacts. And that's not mentioning EMP, of course.
This is definitely in the deck if he's playing. I kinda liked how Kulpa positioned there, just to make sure that he's covering the spaces and not going too far forward.
Yep, there we go. Still playing around the backstab there.
Well, there's the Silhouette Tracer option now, but
So I'd still probably replace OBS here. Twin Strike, yeah, it doesn't do anything.
so he has like how much damage does he have now?
So you're gonna have 4 plus 4 from your Phoenix Fire, plus 3. So you can't really get a good backstab if you simply don't have the mana for it.
Yeah.
But 4, 3. No, you're short. You're looking at 8 plus 6, 14 damage from the looks of it.
Yeah.
So probably this would be a flicker, a runaway, a Phoenix Fire something. Just bolts some distance again. Possibly looking for the Bangle, if he's running Bangle, which I assume you would be. Yeah, no, you wouldn't trace it. You don't have enough space. Wow, okay.
That's brave.
We gambled a bit and we lost.
Well, it looks like this is the best place for Watt to get back into the game. But I just like wonder what kind of like heavy hitter cards he's playing there. Like it seems to be again like good stuff, but
Yeah, usually the best cards you have in this matchup is obviously EMP.
Yeah.
If you're running that, if not, then finality is massive. It's usually not the heal that gets you. It's just the fact that they've closed in and you can't move, because cutting off your mobility
Yeah.
is frankly massive.
Oh,
Earth
yeah.
sphere. Yeah, yeah, I don't care about that.
I haven't seen finality happen like after the recent nerf too much lately. But then again, Ragnarok has been so dominant, so
Yeah, like it's. I've seen some finalities in some like early egg decks, although eventually they became too fast to really justify that card.
yeah,
The big issue, like I think on ladder and other events, is just that fault kind of pushed Faf like completely out.
yeah.
So this seems fairly Onyx base seal that, equip a mask, get rid of the egg.
That seems fairly conservative play there.
Another tracer. Did I miss something, or did the Duelist World Cup turn into the Amazing Race?
Maybe they didn't get the memo. Wasn't it Alpha Century who ran that back then?
Say again?
Wasn't it Alpha Century who organized that tournament?
Originally, I'm pretty sure it was Zooch.
Okay. I'm still kind of sad I didn't get to play in that.
Right, what's happening over here?
That looks like that big card. Yes.
Oh, this is good.
Now then.
How are we getting out of this pickle?
And you're still like at 8 mana here, so
What hashtag Songhai things? Like honestly, if he got a bangle here, this would be like a million damage. So
they can maybe survive one turn, but this is seeming pretty desperate from Arctic Lion right now.
yeah, like he played around Tracer really well. So no real place to position yourself, and you can't really remove. Like, well, I mean, yeah, you have to basically use one of your combo pieces to remove that Armada now.
But I could Phoenix Fire, Ghost Lightning, and then go hit that thing, but then he's still taking 5 damage to the face. No, no, you
And at this
said
point,
that. Yeah,
and and at this point, it's just like a war beast away, and that's game.
yeah.
So honestly, yeah, you also can't. We're just gonna block, yeah, and remove.
Yeah.
So basically, just calling his bluff and say, "Do you have it?"
You could like double Tracer away and then just pray. But I think this is probably the best option out of the bad options you had.
So how much damage are we potentially looking at if he were to replace into that bangle? This would be 5, so
5, 8.
8, so 16. Yeah, that's still not enough.
No.
Looking at another 3, so 19. This is interesting because going way back to that first a few turns, um, I'm never really comfortable allowing players to get onto the board as quickly as they do. Uh, when you're playing a deck with as much burst as this one, there's no real need to go face as early like as you did. You can just pick off 2 drops, disrupt their mana curves, because eventually you'll just draw the damage. Whereas if you let them build these boards early on, you're left to actually deal with that if you're not fast enough, which clearly Arctic was not in this case.
Then again,
Trader.
there was a lava slasher in your face, so he's still 7 health, so kind of hard
So
to
regardless, okay, we have a game. Um, Probably just Tracer away here. Phoenix Fire.
Oh, he's just going face, okay.
Yeah, he's just going for it. Yeah, this is particularly soft against EMP, but I don't think at this point he can really play around that because Varf just has so many draws that could just get rid of your Cyclone Mask anyway, so you just have to bank that he doesn't have it.
Yeah. You have to play your odds when you have them. And you say you don't really care about the healing, but you know,
No.
without the healing,
Well, I don't.
16 damage more.
So shouldn't be game yet. It should be 10 damage. No, not game yet, but you could set it up. Yeah, like whenever I'm playing this matchup, I don't really care much about healing. Varf is an interesting case because he can heal and pressure you at the same time, same as Eleanor. But you just have so much burst in this deck. You just do not run out of damage.
Spoilers. Yeah.
I think yeah, you just go face, push as much damage as possible.
So if you finality here, how does that interact with the Bangle?
Well, you can't move anyway because you're basically stunned.
Yeah.
And that's
EMP?
going to be it, I think.
EMP? EMP? No. Wow.
No. Yeah, unfortunate draws at the end of the day. I think Arctic got a little bit too aggressive early on, but not really punished by any real EMPs or
Yeah.
earlier craters or stuff.
Well, this is gonna. I was kind of like super sure that Watt would take it, but you know, Shanghai hashtag as you do.
Like at the same time, Artifact Song has just been one of those decks where it's super polarizing to actually play against.
Yeah.
But it's got some matchups it just specifically targets, and it just does excellent in those matchups.
Yeah.
Starhorny, what
Starhorny.
Magmar deck have you got for us today?
I can say it's Starhorn.
Hey, the Stone Mirror. Here we go.
Alright, so this is still Eastern EU showing off with Gentle Heart Lamp and Star Horny from Straya.
It's a battle of the Starhorns. Let's see what's going on here.
It looks like a Hate Furnace deck. Do we replace or do we not replace or do we replace?
No. Seems like just old school Decimus combo deck.
Oh, they're both not playing that.
This could be a very fast game.
But if you're playing Starhorn, like the Decimus combo is always super appealing, regardless of the deck you're going for.
I always find these matchups kind of interesting because as the opposing player, you can sort of leverage the fact that your opponent is going to be drawing your cards and just use that to your advantage. Because if Gentle would just go on an absolute spree and just drop minions and spell left and right, like Stalin can't really punish him for that. It's not like you could slow play here. Azure. Not quite sure I agree with that positioning there.
Oh, you could just play it like upper diagonal.
Yeah.
Like, why do you even care about this Silitar here?
I mean, if the Silifar was any other 2-drop, I guess it makes some sense because you could still remove it. But if you wanted to do that, yeah.
And now it feels a bit sad.
Particularly rough turn of events there. But again, here's what I mean. You can just, like, either player can just try to drop as many cards as possible because eventually your opponent is going to be drawing you a whole buttload of them.
It's like true draw Duelyst. Any minion above 4 mana is like properly suspect.
So I'm kind of curious what you do in this instance. You can't really... Oh, you're just going to back off?
Well, you're not contesting those Metatards for sure.
Yeah, I like that a bit better. Night Watcher. Oh, okay, that's a fun little meta inclusion you got there.
Well, it does disable the Macantor, so...
That it does.
And then it doesn't.
Then it doesn't.
And it does a heavy mana investment for like basically nothing. Still, I'm kind of interested like what kind of cards Gentle Heart is playing, if he's playing like Night Watcher or Acerhorn Shaman and those things.
Yeah, the Shaman was like a Watcher. I could still understand maybe, but the Shaman was quite weird.
Yeah.
Not really sure what to think about that one, but ultimately this is just another case of a player skipping a crucial turn and that misplay early on, maybe not playing a better 2-drop, just like I think ultimately cost him the game here.
Well, he can still come back. He's not out of the question. Like Earth Spear is still a thing, but it's looking pretty rough. I mean, it could be just like random card. Wow, just put cool cards in and see what happens. And then it just use BPS to, you know, make up your deficits. I've never done that.
So if I was gentle, I definitely want to be healing here this turn. Possibly get rid of the Primus. Heal up if possible. Yeah.
Woodwen.
Woodwind. Wow. Format All-Star.
Maybe he thought he was playing Gauntlet.
Okay, this seems like a straightforward Macanto turn. Good old the Tigers. But Warby's going to be coming out now.
You can't actually clear all the minions, but still, forward to the face.
Well, he does actually get a full clear here, just not for Warby specifically.
But why would you want to go hit the Mystic when you can hit face?
That is true, so I've been told. Faces the place. Okay, so you've got an easy clear here. At this point, your only concern is your life total. You just really need an Earth Sphere, another Mystic perhaps. Even then, that's just seeding all initiative back to, just straight back to Starhorning.
It was 25 health. And the Decimus in hand.
Armada.
That's an interesting inclusion.
Oh, this is so close.
Ah. He can't play Amp anyhow. So do you just digress here?
Honestly, probably you just Tigress and back off. Well, no, I'll be honest. If the correct play is actually to play Macanto and to punch the Armada. The conservative thing to do would be just to go for the damage play, but I don't like that. There could be some absolute nonsense like copying the Armada.
Never happened. I still kind of like it because he has Decimus in hand, so if there's no healing, he basically game over.
The only problem I have here is you would have had guaranteed lethal next turn anyway.
Yeah.
Whereas he's got a easy clear. Like you could just BBS and heal, and back off, and now you no longer have an answer to the Armada.
Less reincarnation. Oh,
Oof.
cool.
Well, now that's a card.
That happened.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. If you went for the Warbeast clear earlier,
But he still should have lethal here. With lateral digress, if I'm not miscalculating anything.
Well, not this exact turn.
No, yes, true. Numbers difficult.
You're a vet player. It's one of those things.
Yeah, I cannot count higher than 3, so
Like, yeah, as I said, it's one of those things. If he was closer and this exact same line of play, just wouldn't have done it.
yeah. But now he's healing 7 every turn, so
Like, short of an EMP, which I very much doubt you're playing, sir. This could be a very rough turn of events for Staloni here.
I mean, that force field is really tricky to get rid of. But then again, what do you actually do? Like, do you just like walk up to them and just like start giving pace?
Well, it's a bit late now.
Yeah, well,
Getting rid of a Decimus. Yeah, I just don't like that earlier play, even disregarding the fact that he played a Krygon, which you couldn't really account for. Um, you had no real ways of dealing with the Armada, so not taking it like then and there just set you up for so many ways you could have come back into the match anyway. Like with no spikes in hand, you're basically left to just hope your Tigress gets there, but one Earth Sphere and that's it.
yeah.
So not quite sure what we're doing here. You basics like Stalin needs to be running Shroud, and I'm not sure he does. But that's the only thing that I can see getting there, and even then, that force field is still going to be a problem.
Yeah. I am not sure like why you're backing off as General Heartland though, because
Well, at the same time, he's got like inevitability here. Surely, like you could summon all the minions in the world, but if my opponent doesn't have an answer to this Krygon, like he just can't win.
yeah. I just would have like being a bit more closest to have the option of like threatening lethal or like clearing up minions or whatever with the Kragon. Because now you're just like playing the waiting game here and see if there's an answer. Like EMP.
See again, but that just wraps up right to my earlier comment um, of these type of combo decks. They become so centralized towards their core themes that
Yeah.
they not necessarily forget, but like how good would the Starhorn deck have been if it had space for EMP,
Yeah.
which they obviously do not. Well, not in this case, at least. Or we at least see the Krygon shifting up there.
But if he had moved last turn, it would be already hitting face.
So yeah, as always, and I could be wrong. It could just be a deck building preference, and it may be wrong to,
Wow.
shall I say, make your deck worse. Like, but wow,
Spaghetti taketti.
haven't seen that. Like yeah, Hashem's our best expansion. Here we have it, folks.
I'm still of the opinion that the card didn't get nerfed hard enough, but
Ugh, that's just not good enough.
You need that like 5 turns ago.
Um, so I mean, we can easily clear everything here except for Krygon, which again is a very big except the Krygon.
It only has Force Field, Frenzy, and Crow 7, so.
Not
Everything's fine.
sure I agree with that.
I will have got rid of the.
But at the same time, I do need to wonder again if Starhoney isn't running EMP. I'm just not seeing how he wins here at all at this point.
Well, if he gets rid of the Kraken somehow with Egmorph or something, then maybe, but.
Yeah, but even then, you're still having to deal with a 23-23 Starhorn. So, good luck with that.
But then again, you're Starhorn, so like that's your thing. You just blast people off the planet with Decimus combos.
Yeah, but even Spikes in this instance normally only really goes for the like unless you're playing the extreme spell variants, you're normally looking to get some chip damage in there.
Yeah.
Deal like your 11 or 13 breakpoint damages, but this might be just a step too far for Starhoney to overcome this time around. Which again brings me back to that earlier point. Like, you really should never have backed away from Gentle on that one crucial Armada turn.
Yep.
There we go.
And I think like when you're playing against Magmar, you always have to take into account the fact that they have really good comeback cards, like Reagan. So they're really completely out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a testament to how good Magmar's card quality is that cards such as Armada and Kragon just do not see play.
Yeah. Any other faction, they would be banning it already.
So what you're saying is Earth Sister should be in Shanghai.
Would you actually play it in Shanghai?
Yeah, no, I would. 100%. It would be stupid broken. Ugh, okay, yeah. And that's game.
Yeah, that's rough.
Really unfortunate there when it looked like Starhoney had been in control for such a long time. But that little brief moment of conservatism just lost him the game.
Yeah. Still a really good game from both of them, I think. I mean, I really like the fact that there have been so many different decks, like every game. Nope.
Nope. McLaren.
Yes. The old Classico.
What are we bringing to the table today?
Let's see here. These are probably too old already. So, we're moving on to the United Kingdom, the Gentlemen and the United States West matchup. So this is gonna be McLaren versus CD.
Yeah, two really good old-time tournament players here as well.
Both have 3 tournament ribbons, so I think this is gonna be more classical Lilith. Go face. So you might actually see real decks this time.
I was expecting to see Lilith earlier, especially with Pando gone.
Yeah.
Something to take away from these bans is they've really slowed down the format a lot. You know, you wouldn't see stuff like Krygon and Wizard Brome and these six drops these Abyss players are playing. Like these just aren't cards that were normally fast enough, especially with Wanderer and Helenar being meta, which is interesting. You know, I enjoy that we get to play a lot of these cards again.
So as for the factions that got played, Petruvian was only played 4 times, Vannar 4 times, and then it was Magmar, Liner, and Abyssian, and then Songhai. And Lilith was played 4 times, compared to Cass, it was played 4 times.
Okay, so fairly even distribution. So from the looks of it, it looks like CD is obviously playing a far faster version of Swarm, whereas Nick seems to be going for something way more over the top.
Good old Revenant coming to say hi from the beyond.
So normally I'd say it's pretty brave moving in like that, but CD just doesn't have enough minions at the moment to really be all that threatening. And in this specific matchup, CD also just doesn't have good answers to this Vorpal Reaver.
That's a big card to play this early.
That it is. But if you're CD, how do you remove this? You could use a sacrifice, I guess, but even then, that's just going to waste your whole turn, and you're going to have to mop up all those Wraithlings.
Yeah. Lure seems to be the best option here, but that's still not much of an option. Okay.
This could potentially be a very fast game, depending on the forms.
No double spawns.
So if I was Nick, I'd probably just back away here. There's no real way that you are clearing that Blood Tide.
Yeah.
At the same time, given that you're playing this like heavy of a list, oh, Grandmaster, okay.
There we go.
Yeah, I think you just have inevitability. CD is sort of thrives on just making a bunch of minions and maybe getting an early Grimoire off, but might just be a case of getting outvalued here.
I think CD is playing like, I think I saw somebody say like a Hyper Swarm kind of list, so.
Well, he's been known to play Hyper Swarm, but like in this case, yeah, this seems a particularly rough matchup for him because he's just outvalued. They're both playing Swarm cards, except Nick's Swarm cards are going to be better in this instance.
It's gonna be hard for him to like build up stats to actually clear those Freightlings right now.
Yeah, like honestly, if I'm Nick, I can just back off, make Wraithlings, maybe drop a Furiosa, grow them a bit, and eventually just get a Chakra Morph and clear some things.
Yep.
Even if you're CD, like what do? Do you summon a Grimoire? I'll just not get close to you. And Abyssian not known for ways of getting rid of artifacts unless you're playing aggro Cassava.
Yeah.
Yep,
Well,
another blood tide.
but there's gonna be a lot of things on the board, but I think this is gonna move into those hyper-tank situations where they're moving their minions for 15 minutes straight.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, there's not really much advantage of going in here because Nick, while he has a better long game at the moment, he loses by trying to clear board here quickly with Chakram because of those blood tides. CD can just retaliate with a Chakram of his own.
Yeah.
So yeah, just gonna back off and grow them Wraithlings a bit. And we are potentially staring at a Grandmaster next due to that Darkfire sacrifice we just drew there.
Really awkward turn for CD. Because you need to do something, but then again, you don't want to do anything. So
So it's kind of funny because as much as I joked about it sometimes, like this is the type of format where someone like BA would truly shine in because he'd be a mad lad and just play EMP in Hyperswarm. You know, just for the hell of it, and light benders and stuff. And again, while inclusions like that may ultimately make the deck worse, it just shores up your matchups in such a degree, like in cases like this, because like what do you do if you're CD here?
yeah. After the Grandmaster drops down, it's gonna be really hard. Alrighty then.
All right, well, let's get that Grandmaster rolling. At the same time, CD just probably looking to edge forward bit by bit, get a good chakra morph, and sort of like overwhelm Nick here. So it's really going to come down to the next two turns.
Yep.
Nick should be fine. He can stick a Grandmaster here, and CD can't really remove it.
But I think both Nick and CD are so experienced Abyssian players, so it's gonna be tough outplaying.
Hmm. Not sure why you wouldn't remove Blood there. You give him one extra token, but it can't reach you anyway. Whereas this puts him closer into having a powerful chakram.
The slow tide is approaching.
Which is another case of where it comes down to deck building. But if this Grandmaster was a Revenant instead, this game would have been over already.
Yeah. After the nerf, the Grandmaster has been really hard card to fit into decks.
Yeah, Grandmaster is a weird one because even when popular, it was just too slow, like in the format. Like we adapted pretty quickly to it just by playing aggressively.
Yeah.
whether that be Songhai decks or Fanar decks, like at the time. You could just ignore it for like a good 2 turns.
Yeah.
Yeah, the issue here from Nick is you just can't kill those blood tides. So you can't really make a dent into any of his minions.
That's how it feels to play Vitruvian with that blood affair. Never happened.
Okay, this is rough. Yeah, but Nick actually looks in a very rough spot here because, again, without those blood tides, it just doesn't matter. Well, there's one to get it started. It doesn't matter how big his board gets here because CD basically can't run out of minions.
Yeah.
And without also playing something like Revenant, Nick has no real way of ending this matchup in any quick fashion.
I would imagine CD would start getting some cheap damage in eventually, but
Well, it does seem like he hasn't drawn the Chakram yet because he would have obviously played it.
yeah. I wonder if I'll just see a slow death Nick Laren staring at those priestesses and just, in a sea of nothing, there's only Breaking.
Well, at this point, he does like he has drawn one answer to one of the priestesses, and honestly, if he were to draw another one, even without Chakram, he'd currently be in a decent spot because without Chakram, CD can't really reach him.
Mm.
So honestly, I would possibly replace for Chakram here if, depending on how many answers I have, if you only really have Sacrifice, yeah, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, the Chakram doesn't seem to be the most important card right now.
But I think we can safely say that there's no copies of Revenant in this deck because you would have probably slammed the Chakram way earlier in the hopes of top decking one.
Yeah.
There we go.
And he's already playing the Reaver and Grandmasters.
Mm. So it might be just a bit too top heavy. So despite all of this pressure, again, a single Chakram draw from CD is going to almost completely clear this board over here.
Shadowstalk.
Soul Grimoire, okay. I was trying to think if there's any memes that I'm missing over here, but unfortunately it is a Grimoire and not a... And it can't really grow a Wraithling to maybe hit a Corporal Cadence. So not much his General can do with extra attack here. It's never realistically going to reach Nick in this matchup.
Yeah.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
of like expected like a Shadow Priest or something drop down already, but
Honestly, I don't even think CD plays a Shadow Priest. That's normally too slow for the type of game plan he's going for. Like, Blood Tide would be the most expensive thing he'd be. Well, a Chakram would be the most expensive thing he'd be playing, if even that. As shocking as that is to say.
Yeah, I guess without the bans it was like a bit different, but I think like the bans may have like also kind of slowed the game a bit down, so you have more time to play like bigger names.
Which again makes me really surprised by Nick's choices here. So chat again, please. If you're playing Chakram in a slow Abyssian deck, play Revenant. It's just going to win you games. Don't listen to people who calls it bad. Like, a single Rev here would have just instantly killed CD from 25 life.
So Nicola is on the top deck mode, smiling, because as you do, this is why you play Abyssian. But CD still has 5 cards in hand, so but I wonder how many of them are just like single target removal, like lures or stuff.
Yeah, Nick still has like Leo to actually draw into and to, but like again, it's just so interesting. Because all it would take from CD is just again a single Chakram, and that'll do it, and we're just not seeing it.
No one respects the ref boy. Feels bad, man. To be honest, as a Vetruvian player, I'm super happy that card is not being played anymore.
Which card's that?
Revenant, Obelisks.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
feels bad. Oh, that's not gonna change anything.
No. Like again, this is just a stalemate. Like at this point, because despite clearing up all the other Wraithlings, like I can clearly see what Nick's going for. He's trying to eventually surround CD until he gets to draw his answer. But yeah, until he gets an answer to that Blood Tide, he's just not getting close to him.
Yeah. Does it look like he got the draw?
I mean, yeah, Tony, that's what I'm saying. I think the last time I actually played to S was with a Abyssian deck with Chakram and Revenant for that specific interaction, and yeah, it's pretty good in the slower format, eh? Less so when Wanderers are about, but in a tournament setting such as this, yeah, I could see that being pretty decent.
the Deathfire going on with the right link, so that's a win condition. The other question is if it will ever actually reach.
Yeah, the problem, either CD is getting horribly unlucky, or he simply doesn't, like, I really doubt he wouldn't have any chakrams. Um, now that now that you have that Brafling over there, there's a potential for you to have something like Corporal Cadence. Otherwise, yeah, I'm not really seeing how he gets out of this.
Well, Duelyst can crash. Too much attack. Undefined.
Because yeah, at this point, you're just waiting until Nick draws like one of his 5 outs.
But it seems very like the CD deck seems very like an old school Breitling Swarm.
Oh yeah, it just seems like old school Hyper Swarm you've got going here.
Yeah. So maybe it's just like a event like back in his deck list then. The old classic one. No chakrams or anything.
And it's times like these that CD wishes old Spectral Blade was still legal.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Well, that happened.
Abyssian, folks.
I think for like for everybody's sanity's sake, I'm very happy that happened. All right. I got one more if you're still awake enough.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
2 hours sleep. I'm full of energy. Let's do it.
All right. So let's see, Bright Guy. So this is still United Kingdom Gentlemen versus United States West. And we have also very old school players here.
Wait, I'm confused. Bryguy is not playing Lionel and Sibon is not playing Magmar. There's some alternate reality going on here that I'm not comfortable with.
It's not Siphon doesn't actually play Magmar in tournaments.
That's also true, though. I mean,
I'm yet
but that's more.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's more a case of Magmar not historically, like, outside of brief periods of like Mechasaur decks, like way back 2015 side, Magmar never really was a very popular tournament deck. That normally went to, say, Lionel, Vanar later. Even Songhai performance-wise did better, unless we're specifically talking about like Wanderer, Rag recently, and Eggs.
Yeah.
But yeah, Magmar's never been that popular despite how dominant it's always been on ladder. It's just never translated well.
I think it's just because the Magmar decks are usually pretty one-dimensional, so...
Yeah, no, it was fairly, like, you could plan out how your Magmar opponent is going to play at most of its curves, and that's just not very conducive to a winning strategy.
Yeah. But Archeon doesn't have Titan list, so it's gonna be interesting to see what kind of liner we're gonna see from Siphon. Out of all things.
Celebrant. Could this be Golem Swarm? Does seem to be the case. Yeah.
Yes. Perfect opening.
Really powerful over here. possibly setting up into next turn. What do you have? Either developing a 5/9 or just simply buffing all his golems out of removal range.
Yeah.
Critically, Bragai can't clear all of these, so possibly left just clearing the metallurgist.
And that doesn't really feel too good right now.
Yeah, but you have to clear the metallurgist,
Yes.
surely.
If you don't, they just like get a huge tempo advantage.
I mean, then that just leaves Sibon up to potentially what Brightmoss use. Oh, he
Yeah.
doesn't. No, he does. Never mind.
Double blood is, I think, pretty okay here.
Yeah, like, look, you want minions on board just to contest what he's doing.
But that 2-5 is still like a 5 health awkward to trade into. But there's a Plasma Storm, so no worries. We are playing Magmar, it's gonna be fine. No
Yeah,
Boris
Braga.
waking up.
yeah, Braga taking control back of the game at this moment. It just can't be understated how important it was getting rid of that metallurgist there, just to get rid of any discounts that CD might give to his future minions.
Yeah.
If you had spikes in hand, there could be a argument for playing a Decimus backline. Oh, elimination, okay. Sivan probably identifying here that he needs to be aggressive in this situation because he's not going to pull ahead otherwise.
Well, he's playing Starhorn against Starhorn, so there's always the ticker of the Decimus combo, so. And the Plasma Storms and everything, so.
Yeah, particularly rough turn from Braga here because not much he can do other than play a Decimus. You have to imagine that CD would be playing Draining Wave in a deck as aggressive as this.
Yeah. So would you draw a card here, or would you just play Decimus? Well, there's the
There
Draining
we
Wave.
see it.
And there's a lot of damage coming in. This looks like this might be a pretty quick game, by all accounts.
Well, let's see what he does next. Sojourner. Wow, I haven't seen one of those in ages. Yeah, played really well around any possible Flash Warbeast plays. Slasher isn't particularly good here. And even Plasma Storm still not going to clear up that 4/3.
Yep.
No, there's the Flash.
Well, the Flash Warbeast gives some space, but
Honestly, as bad as it is, you probably need to, like, yeah, just gonna flash and stay where you are. Like, move one up, possibly.
yeah.
Alright, so move above Arjon, move out of range of that Sojourner. There we go. I'd possibly go face.
I think face is the best.
Don't really think that Simon can put him down from that life total. 2-drop immolation is not going to be enough to do it.
It's just the provoke that I'm probably the most worried about.
Moving away. Do you have to provoke or something? Possible. Kron. What do you have for us, bud?
Soul Bond.
Soul Ponter.
No, that's not gonna protect against the Plasma Storm, so Braika is getting a lot of space next turn.
Yeah, no, Plasma's probably going to whip Warblade. Oh, maybe not. So more important than the attack buff is probably that health, because that just makes it so that Warbeast can't actually clear up this board. You could have potentially just walked away like Warbeast CD, Sibon, and just walked away and Warbeast him again, which now makes this very difficult. Yeah, you've essentially got no way to really clear this.
No. There's the Plasma Storm going away.
4-2. Oh, that's honestly that looks like game to me. With the raw next turn, that would be enough damage.
Yeah.
There's no real space for Braga to move into. He simply doesn't have enough mana.
Okay.
He could look to draw something, but even Rebuke wouldn't do it. So close. So close. Honestly, a flash would actually no, not that. And that's going to be it. Ultimately, Simon, just really playing around Warbeast and being a bit too fast for Braga over there.
Yeah, but I think both sides played to their outs, so I think it's just draw very well, and like Sipon got the perfect opening for the columns, so very rough.